Welcome back to my channel. Tonight wasn't just another episode of WWE programming or another premium live event added to the calendar. This was the night wrestling fans around the world have both dreaded and counted down to for years. It was the closing chapter of John Cena's in-ring career, a moment that carried the weight of more than 2 decades of memories, milestones, controversies, triumphs, and unforgettable connections between a performer and the people who followed him. When Cena stepped into the ring for the final time, the reaction from the WWE Universe immediately confirmed that this was history unfolding in real time. The roar of the crowd wasn't just loud, it was emotional, layered with gratitude, nostalgia, pride, and a quiet sadness that comes with realizing an era has reached its end. And as powerful as that moment already was, what followed inside the arena elevated the night into something truly timeless, a sequence of events that will be talked about across the wrestling world for years to come. Legends, future Hall of Famers, and today's biggest stars poured into the ring to honor Cena, transforming the space from a battlefield into a living monument to legacy, respect, and brotherhood. By the time the cameras faded out and the show officially ended, if wrestling is more than just entertainment to you, if it's something you feel in your bones, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update as we continue to cover the stories shaping this industry. Today's focus is one of the most emotionally charged nights WWE has ever produced, the final match of John Cena and the deeply personal farewell offered by an entire locker room that grew up alongside him. For months, WWE had been carefully guiding fans toward this moment. The announcement earlier in the year that John Cena would officially retire from in-ring competition sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. While many knew the day would eventually come, hearing it confirmed made it feel suddenly real. The date was set for December 13, 2025, at WWE Saturday Night's Main Event XLI, hosted inside the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., a city steeped in wrestling history and symbolic weight. This wasn't just a random location or time slot. WWE framed the entire build as the last stand of one of the company's most iconic figures, a final chance for fans to witness Cena competing under the bright lights as an active wrestler. The narrative wasn't about chasing another championship or extending a record. It was about honoring a journey that helped define modern WWE. Standing across the ring from Cena was Gunther, a competitor whose reputation made him the ideal final opponent. Known for his punishing style, technical mastery, and no-nonsense demeanor, Gunther represented the evolution of WWE's in-ring standard. He wasn't chosen by accident. Gunther earned his opportunity by winning the Last Time Is Now tournament, a storyline designed to emphasize that only the best, most resilient competitor deserved to share the ring with Cena on his final night. The matchup wasn't simply about victory or defeat. It was about contrasting eras, philosophies, and legacies colliding one last time. John Cena's career reads like a condensed history of WWE itself. 17 World Championship reigns, headline matches at WrestleMania, rivalries that defined generations, and moments that blurred the line between performer and global celebrity. Beyond the ring, Cena's influence expanded into film, television, charity work, and mainstream pop culture. Yet through every evolution, he remained a polarizing but deeply respected figure. He was cheered loudly, booed passionately, debated endlessly, but never ignored. WWE's farewell tour captured every stage of that journey, from the early days as a brash newcomer dropping freestyle promos, to his rise as the face of the company, to the veteran presence who returned sparingly but always commanded attention. Still, none of those accolades truly mattered on this night. What mattered was the shared experience between Cena, his peers, and the fans who watched him grow, stumble, succeed, and endure. Inside Capital One Arena, the atmosphere was unlike anything seen in years. There was excitement, but it was tempered by reflection. There was joy, but also an unmistakable sense of finality. Fans filled the stands wearing shirts from every era of Cena's career, from early slogans to modern designs. Backstage, superstars watched monitors with the same intensity as the audience, fully aware they were witnessing a moment that would be referenced for the rest of their careers. This wasn't just another main event. It was a collective acknowledgement of what it means to dedicate your life to this industry. As the bell rang and the match unfolded, viewers around the world leaned forward, hanging on every move, every facial expression, every near fall. No matter what outcome fans expected, whether they hoped for a heroic victory or a respectful defeat, everyone understood they were watching something irreplaceable. When the final bell finally sounded, there was barely time to process what had just happened before the night took an even more emotional turn. The first person to step into the ring after the match was Triple H, WWE's chief content officer and a Hall of Famer who shared his own legendary history with Cena. What followed wasn't a storyline twist or a dramatic confrontation. It was something far more sincere. One by one, wrestlers from every corner of WWE's roster entered the ring. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, Stephanie McMahon, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and many more stood shoulder to shoulder with Cena. The ring, once a place of competition, became crowded with respect. The crowd erupted into chants of "Thank you, Cena," a phrase that echoed again and again, each time carrying more emotion. This wasn't scripted spectacle. It was a locker room openly honoring one of its pillars. When Triple H finally took the microphone, his tone reflected the gravity of the moment. He spoke not just of Cena's accomplishments, but of his influence as a teammate, a leader, and an ambassador for WWE across the globe. He emphasized that long after the lights went out and the fans returned home, the impact Cena had on the business would continue to be felt. Championships fade, matches end, but the standard Cena set would remain. The crowd responded with thunderous applause, understanding that this was a farewell not to a character, but to a man who gave everything to the industry. Behind the scenes, the emotions were just as strong. Reports from backstage described a locker room filled with reflection and gratitude. Wrestlers shared personal stories about traveling with Cena, learning from him, and watching him elevate everyone around him. One veteran described the atmosphere earlier in the night as heavy, a mix of pride and sadness that signaled the closing of a chapter. Many admitted they didn't fully grasp how much Cena meant to the locker room until faced with the reality of his retirement. Fans at home and online mirrored those emotions. Social media filled with messages from longtime supporters who had grown up watching Cena and newer fans who recognized his importance even if they hadn't experienced his entire run. For many, this night wasn't just about wrestling. It was about memories tied to different stages of life, moments shared with family, friends, and packed arenas. In the days leading up to the event, WWE released a tribute video highlighting Cena's career. Cena responded humbly, saying the recognition meant everything to him while emphasizing that no one succeeds alone in this business. He expressed gratitude to fans, fellow wrestlers, and the countless people behind the scenes who supported him throughout his journey. That same humility carried into his presence in the ring on his final night. Surrounded by cheers, chants, and tears, Cena didn't need a long speech. The moment spoke for itself. Rarely has a wrestling farewell felt this significant. Legends from different eras sharing the ring, current champions standing beside a man who paved the way, and an arena united in appreciation.